parent all three of them by myself. It's just not something that, when I think of the future, I don't know how I'm going to be as a person if this continues much longer. So I'm saying to the dad, like, we got to do something. Do you get what I'm saying? Because I swear to you, another year of this is mad. To think that this is my life, another year of this is crazy. So I think, like, he needs to go to his dad. And I don't want him to feel like, like I feel like he feels like maybe I don't want him here. And even, it's not even that. Do you get what I'm saying? It's just that I don't know how to parent. Just so ignorant to certain things. But these people, they have a lot more knowledge. And speech and language therapy is not always to do with the speech, it's the communication. Like my son, when let me tell you a bit more like about, because autism doesn't have a look. Remember that. Autism isn't like, you see how my daughter is, her signs are evident, yeah? Autism does not look the same for everyone. Now, my middle son, I thought he's fine. He spoke, he ran, he was walking from 10 months. He was doing everything he needed to do from early. So when someone said speech and language therapy, I said, my son needs speech and language therapy, like, please. But he didn't know how to communicate. He would always copy. So my son, my middle one, he learned through copying. So like, I would say this, he would say, I would say this. Are you going there? Are you going there? Everything he would do, he would copy everything he'd say. And I was thinking, but they noticed that in nursery. But I thought that was just, obviously kids do that. And yes, you can wait it out. But for me, because I know autism runs in my family, it's something to be very wary about. So in my case, it's genetic. But yeah, Alma, sorry. How are you? What happened today?
Hi Jess, how are you?
I'm fine.
I'm tired, girl. I'm so stressed out. It's just this school is really, really like getting on my last nerve.
What happened?
Basically, remember I told you last week he was showing middle finger to a behavior teacher, whatever they're called, behavior lead. And obviously they have this policy where they have to do like consequence. So they wanted him today to go to something called reflection room,
Yeah.
where he's not allowed like socializing with his friends and that. So he refused, because our children, they don't take authority. Like he refused. He was like, no. He's like, I want to, go to break time. Because of his needs, he doesn't understand. He doesn't understand what
I
he
get
done
you.
last week.
I get you.
He doesn't understand why you pushing me punishing me what I done last week. For him is like, oh, this week I was doing well. I done yesterday well. Why you punishing me for something I done last week? So he refused. They called me. He's already home. They sent him home by 10:30. They called me. They were like, oh yeah, talk to your son, like he's refusing. So I tried to talk to him. He was like, no, he refused. So I was like,
What
send
was
him
your son
home.
saying? What was his like reasoning when you spoke to him?
Because of his autism, sometimes he doesn't understand, because he has a diagnosis of autism. So sometimes he doesn't understand, like, but why they want, he already forgot what he done last week.
That is like my son. That is
Yes.
literally my son,
So I was like, yeah, remember last week you showed the finger to the teacher and all that. And I couldn't like, I tried my best to explain to him. So, but this all are sent teachers, he goes to, is a mainstream, but he has a help, help is like a small provision where they have for the autistic children. So they're this lady's calling me and telling me all about this policy and everything is about policy, you understand? But you are dealing with children who have needs. They don't understand about your policy. So I said to her, that was the assistant head teacher. I said to her, then let him come home. And they were like, oh, then we will suspend him. Either he goes to this reflection room, or we will suspend him. I say, yeah, fine, then suspend him because he doesn't want to go. They can't drag him in there. So they send him home, and I'm waiting for. I said, can I have that please in writing? And I called straight away my caseworker because he has a school. He has a school, but they're just right now talking about the payment because they kind of don't want to pay for so they kind of is going back to panel. And but today I kind of really break down on the phone with my caseworker. I was like, I'm tired of this. It's going on for 6 months. He has the school. There's a school who can meet his needs. They're happy to take him. And what is the problem? Because this school every day they send him, he doesn't stay more than 1 hour in school.
Ridiculous. It's honestly ridiculous.
It goes 8 o'clock. By 9:30 they're already calling me.
Yeah.
So there is a school ready, and I don't understand. I really break down on the phone. I said, I can't do this anymore. So I hope she took me now, serious and considering everything. And
well, you'd think that, because that was what I thought, but I hope in your case that it is they have a bit of sympathy, because I felt like when it was getting to those stages for me, that was me. I thought, you know what, let me actually open up to these teachers. Let me, you know what I mean? Like, and no,
I don't talk to the teachers. I have a caseworker because he has an EHCP, he needs a specialist setting, because even if the mainstream has a help provision, they can't meet his needs, because these academies, they are all about policies here and policies there. And
it doesn't work for our kids. It doesn't work. Like, they treat, and do you know what kind of pisses me off? Yeah, they treat all of them the same way, and they talk about all of this reasonable adjustments. I don't know what reasonable adjustments they've been putting in place for the kids, because the kids are always getting excluded, suspended all the time. So
I'm not sending him back. I made my mind up now, because he's not doing any learning. So I said to my caseworker, you better provide now some education for my son, because I'm not sending him back there.
Yeah.
He already stayed last week 2 days home because he was so drained from, it's too much for him as well to process everything. So if not, then I have to take a lawyer or something, because they just don't want to pay for the provision that wants to take him. You understand?
So crazy. Like, I just don't understand what was the point. The EHCP is for that, for extra funding for your child to be, to get into the place that is best suited for them. And they're talking about funding.
Yeah, they said, oh, it was agreed in the panel. Yes, okay, we agree. That's the best setting for him. But then all the money is too much. And then the borough where I am, Croydon Borough, they're bankrupt or whatever. So they don't have no money. But I will definitely appeal. I'm not going to just, because that's the right school. Because I told you, I visited so many SEND schools and it's not suitable for him. Some of them, as soon, he done some trial days, and they said after even a day, they said, oh, we can't meet needs.
Oh, look at what Kay said. Sorry, SEND schools are just as strict, honestly. Yeah. They also suspend regularly as well and put on reduce. What? Oh.
No, this SEND school, if you remember, he used to go the primary part of that SEND school that I'm sending him now.
But then they knew that you thought he was getting better, so he went into mainstream, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they know him very well, the head teacher. So I know he will be settled in that school. That's why I'm not going for other SEND schools. I want him to go to the one that I choose for him. But it's just now all about the funding. So it's like, it's never ending. I'm just so tired, honestly. I'm just
draining, Alma. It is the most draining thing.
And it's like 2 days last week he stayed home. He was all day in his room. He's depressed as well, because he doesn't have, school is for them like social life, where he meets friends, where they learn, where, you understand. So I have to, like you said earlier, I have to say to him, go take a shower, go brush your teeth. He's like, It's like he goes to school, but he's not really going to school because after 1 hour, they tell him to go back home.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's actually honestly so unfair. And as you just said that, I think I don't even know how my son feels. So even how he's acting could be, I don't know, but he's not even talking to me for me to even know how he's actually feeling.
Yeah, my son, he doesn't talk. I just have to question him every day, how you feel and all that. But it's not like he wants to go. Sometimes I say to him, come, let's go out, let's go to the park and all that. But he doesn't want to do anything. He want to sit in his room all day. And I don't want him to be on the gaming, all day. It's not good for him.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, the game, I had to ban the game in my house. I think with my son and the game, it does something to him that is just not great. So I banned it and he had a massive, massive, massive meltdown.
Yeah.
And yeah, and the thing that he gets really angry when you tell him to come off or when you tell him to do, it's just a different person. So I was just thinking the problems are already really bad. And then adding the game and telling him to come off is worse. Like he's breaking stuff in my house and he's big. My son's a big 12-year-old, like, do you know what I mean?
Same, yeah.
Yeah, I can't do that. So the game's no longer in my house anymore.
No, I let him play, but I let him I give him time. I say to him you have an hour because he doesn't really see his friends that often, so they play together, on the.
I get it, it's social, yeah.
Yeah, so he just with his friends on the game, and then after hour, I tell him that's it.
Do you set the time or do you always remember when to tell him to come off? Because I think my thing is, I'm not gonna lie, I'll tell him how long, but then I would forget because I'm attending to the other two. So that's where it just gets messy. I should have at the time maybe had set a timer or something, but it just never worked anyways because.
Hi, ladies.
Hi,
Hi,
Steph.
hello.
I've got a daughter. She's the pain in my ass, but I know how to work her now. I've mastered it. Okay, and do you know what it is? It's tiring because you're constantly repeating yourself, and with patience, you will get there. But when you have a child with same problems, what you need to do is you've got to go the long way round. And the way I have to work my daughter is that I have to pre-warn her. So say if she was a gamer, because I've got a son who's a gamer and I have to approach him the same, but he's not diagnosed where my daughter is. If I said, right, if he's been on there for an hour and I said you go on there for an hour, what I do is I have to explain to him why you need to come off in an hour. So in an hour's time, I need you to come off because you're going to go and have your dinner and then you've got to have your bath and maybe I'll give you another 10 minutes after that. So you've got to give them that explanation so that they've got it in their head what's to come. It is all about beforehand. And then also, my daughter's got severe ADHD. They've actually listed it as severe.
What is severe ADHD? Can you tell what is?
So she's on. It's just on a medical because we had to get a letter because obviously she's 22. She's a grown up, so we had to get a letter proving that she's got ADHD, even though she's got the from when she was first diagnosed. We had to get proof, and on it said severe ADHD. Now I don't know why they say severe, but I think it's because she was quite bad. She was quite bad, but she wasn't bad at home. She was bad at school because she's also got ODD, where she won't do anything what anyone else tells her to do unless it's me. Because she's like, well, no, because that's my mum. She can tell me what to do. You are not my mum. So that's how her head works. And with her, I always find that if she's confused about something, I literally have to break it down into the very minimal and understanding way as possible. It's like talking to a child with her. You can't go and use big words on her because she'll just look at you and think, what are you talking about? So no matter what age they are, you have to break it down to him. He could be 13 and you need to turn around and say to him, I need you to come off there. You've got half an hour left because you need to have a bath. You've got to freshen up your skin. And it's breaking it down into terms. And also, I am that parent that just because I have a SEND child, you're going to get punished like my other children. So that's what a lot of parents I find that with SEND children, oh, they use it as an excuse. No, I can't do that because they don't understand. They learn. They're not stupid. It just takes longer for them to learn. And you just got to basically keep repeating yourself, but they will get there eventually. You just have to try it in different ways. If you have to talk to them like a baby, not in a baby voice, but in a baby way, like a younger way. So I don't know, can you put your shoe on, put your left one on first, then put your right one on? They need it broken down so it's not confused. You've got to think there's a blockage in the brain. And where the blockage is that they've heard the first bit and it takes one trigger word for them to not hear the rest of it.
Yeah.
So you have to make sure you're using it very, clear instructions, but also don't treat them any different because they have a SEND problem. My kids, honestly, my daughter, she went to school. She was an absolute a-hole. Oh, God, a-hole in school. And she became a-hole to other children, right? I'm just trying to keep it clean here. And one particular child, it was a girl, and me, in my eyes, I came across that what she did was bullying. So you know what I did with my daughter? I took her iPhone and I gave that iPhone to that girl because she needed a phone. I went, here you go. My daughter looked, she went, are you actually doing it? I said, yes, I'm doing it because you're going to learn. Okay?
Not that.
And I just feel like a lot of parents are using the excuse, like, you know, the ones that you see the videos because they swear. My daughter don't swear. She does now because she's an adult, but she never swear when she was a kid because I taught her not to. And if she did, she got a flick of the lip. That's a good way to stop kids from swearing, by the way, because it hurts like hell. But it don't leave no bruises. But it was a flick of the lip, and they don't swear. It's like, oh, but yeah, but they're having a tantrum, they're having a meltdown, they're having a moment. Yes, so teach them not to have that moment. Teach them it's not acceptable. I'm just fed up of it. I see it all the time. It does my head in. Sorry, run over.
Yeah, that's I hear that. Let me just say hi to Kay. Kay's here. Hi.
Sorry, this is the first time I've been on here, so I didn't know if it was going to work or not. But honestly, listening to you is like a reflection of myself. I have a 15-year-old who's not diagnosed, but the schools think that, you know, that she's had learning disabilities from a young age, but I never noticed it. My son is 12. He's diagnosed with autism, learning disabilities and behavioural problems. And I have a nearly 3-year-old who is showing so many like signs of autism, and it's really not easy. Like my 12-year-old, when he started nursery, the first day of nursery, they told me to come pick him up after half an hour. From that day, they used to evacuate the children, like for their own safety, because he would have like major meltdowns. From that day going forward, 6 years, he was only in school for an hour and a half. Then
6 years?
6 years every day from nursery right through to year 6. And then he did like a 2-year program where he was in like a special needs school, and he was doing really well there. But then in September, he started a SEND school. And on his very first day, they did a reduced timetable. And I just assumed that, you know, like they're going to break him in slowly and then eventually he'll start full time. Obviously, we're now in May, and he's still not in full time. And it's because they say that he can't handle it. But he's also not in a classroom. There's 3 children in each classroom, and he's in his own little room, because they're saying that he cannot cope with the pressure because he struggles to read and write and communicate. And he's also quite violent as well, like not necessarily towards other people, but mainly like towards me. And that's very like normal for me because of what I've known. But with Kalel, he has structure, routine, bedtime, everything, but it's still, it doesn't change anything. That's the problem. Like, I am one of those parents that are strict, and I do put rules and regulations into place, and he knows right from wrong. And he doesn't swear, but he is violent and he will lash out. And in that moment, he can't control it. And obviously, I know the difference between bad behaviour and having a meltdown because I've been dealing with it for such a long time. But just by him being in a SEND school, it doesn't change anything. They literally, he's been suspended 30 times since he started in September, and he only goes to school from 12 till 3. From 9 till 12. Every day.
Wow. And what, sorry to ask you, so what are they specialized, the SEND school? Because it's different, you know, some
Well,
that do.
his school that he's in is a social, emotional, mental health school. So they have children with autism, learning disabilities, ADHD, and behavioural problems in. But with these type of schools, they still treat them the same way like a normal mainstream school would. They still put rules and regulations into place to protect themselves. Obviously, they only use restraint if they have to. But yeah, they don't treat him any differently to a normal school, even with an EHCP and like 3 different diagnoses. They still
Yeah.
have to obviously protect themselves. And if they think that Kalel's not coping, they will put him on a reduced timetable. So that's all they can do going forward. But the thing is, the only thing they can't do is kick him out completely, because obviously, you know, they would end up going to court and they would lose. So their obviously next steps are to put him on a reduced timetable and manage his behaviour as best as they can. If they feel like, you know, he's being overwhelmed and it's too much, that's it, straight home.
Kay, something triggers him.
That's crazy.
What triggers him? Something
Honestly, let me tell you, there is nothing that triggers my son.
No.
And after
Same.
12 years, like I'm telling you, structure routine, like he has bathed in a bed at the same time. He knows right from wrong. He sits on his computer like the lady was saying. And then the thing is, like I say, I give him a countdown. So I say, look, you've got an hour. Then I'm doing it 15 minutes left, half an hour, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And it still doesn't matter. Once he's so engaged in that world on his computer, he does not want to come off. And every night it's the same thing. He's like, just 10 more minutes, 10 more minutes. And then what ends up happening is he goes to bed in a stinking mood. He's kicking off, or he's violent, smashing up his room, or, you know, coming for me and doing something to me. And this is a regular thing. This has been going on for 12 years. And obviously I know the difference between bad behaviour and a meltdown. So when it is bad behaviour, I close his door, let him do what he's got to do in his room. And then eventually, you know, he'll calm down and apologise. When he's having a meltdown, it's like seeing straight through him. You cannot control it. There's nothing I can do. I can't restrain him safely because he's a big boy now as well. He's a lot taller than me. He's chunky. He's got a lot of weight on him. Once he's over that, he will then be like, look at me and be like, oh, I'm sorry, mummy, I love you. And I'm like sitting there like, what the fuck? Like,
My brother is
from 0 to 100. You haven't even seen like what's in front of you. You've done what you've done, and then you want to apologise. And obviously, a lot of people have said to me over the years, like being through CAMS and other authorities, like, what are his triggers? There is no triggers. It can be anything from me saying no. Because originally they thought he had PDA. But it wasn't just the word no, it was me telling him that he can't have something, or I'm not going to give him money to go on his computer.
Sorry, is PDA the same as, different from ODD?
I'm not too sure.
Yeah,
I'm not
it's
sure what ODD is. I know PDA is pathological demand avoidance.
Yeah, that's what my son has as well. Yeah.
ODD just means don't tell me what to do, because, oh my God, there's a bird in my window. Sorry. ODD is basically, you ain't telling me what to do because you ain't. My daughter, when she turned 18, she went into the shop and wanted to buy a Red Bull, and they asked her for ID, and she just didn't understand why.
Really?
Yeah, she just didn't understand why. She's like, but I'm 18. I'm like, yes, because you look under 25, but you have to be 18. So she just didn't get it. But when I sat down and explained it to her, step by step, she got it more. But my brother sounds so much like your son, Kay, so much like it. But my brother feared me more than my mum. I only had to look at my brother, and he would just hide behind my mum and go, she's telling me off, mum. But with my mum, he'll be like, he'd just be completely different.
Honestly, like, I am Kalel's safe space, but at the same time, like when he was younger, like, you know, you wait till your dad gets home. Not to scare him, we would never hit him or anything like that, but just a little bit of authority, because obviously I am his safe space, so he wouldn't care how he would treat me or what he would do that would upset me. Like, nothing would faze him. Now that he's older, like, he has no fear of no one. He's very different with other people than what he is with obviously his parents and his siblings. But at the same time, if you spend more time with him and you get to know him, which obviously he doesn't, because obviously no one else like will look after the children, there's no respite. So he's also not entitled to respite either, because he's quite violent and he lashes out. So because of that, obviously there's no respite, there's no help, there's no support. And the thing is, children do just fall through the cracks because of this. They want you to go to parenting classes. You go to parenting classes. I did it 2 sessions, 6 months each. Did it change anything? No. Because one thing about me is I'm a really good mum. I put literally rules, regulations, structure, routine into place all the time. And I'm very considerate, but I don't treat him any different to my other children. Well, my daughter, because obviously she's not diagnosed, but I don't treat him any different. Like, he knows what's right and what's wrong, but it doesn't change anything. And that's the thing. It's like, I can give in to him and say, oh, you know, you can have this, Kalel, blah, blah, blah. And he will then be like, oh, thank you, mum, love you. 10 minutes later, once he's got what he wants, that's it. He will just kick off all over again, because for whatever reason, I'm not too sure. But yeah, it's just really not easy. And I feel you, because obviously I've got 3 as well, and the youngest, he shows so many signs, like he's non-verbal. So with Kalel, when he was little, he was talking, he was like reaching certain milestones, but it was the no eye contact, the tiptoe walking, the stimming, that I thought, okay, you know, something's not right here. Everyone was just like, oh, he's just naughty, and I thought, no, I know. Then he was diagnosed when he was 6. Obviously with my youngest son, he does all of those things, but he's also non-verbal. So he's at the minute going through the process of being referred to a paediatrician, waiting for a diagnosis. But it's funny because looking back, he's actually so much worse behavioural wise than what Kalel was when he was his age.
Really?
And I know it sounds awful to say, but there are times where I just think, like, what did I do so wrong to deserve this? Because I'm a
Hey,
really
listen,
good
you're in a
person.
safe space. We all feel like, listen, we all feel like that. Me, I'm open about how I feel. We all have those feelings. Trust
And the
me.
thing is, I think it's hard for people that don't have children that, have special educational needs. They have an opinion and they say, well, you should do this, you should do better. Why didn't you put this into place? But do you not think that we don't do that? We're not making our lives harder for the sake of it. Of course, there are certain times where I let things slide and I pick my battles because I know what the outcome can be. But I cannot be like that consistently, because then what's going to happen? He's going to walk all over me and think that he can do that, which he does already. But I have to gain some sort of authority. And I have to, keep that I'm the parent and you are the child. But honestly, as it gets older, it gets harder. It really does. It's not easy.
It's really hard.
It's
It's
for
hard.
everyone.
It's me. I don't know what to do, honestly. Like, I don't know. I feel lost now because what do you do? He has needs, he has diagnosis, but I don't know. Back in the days, you can, yeah.
That back in the day still exists in my house. I'm not even gonna lie.
You know what I mean? But I don't think that will even help. I don't think for my son it won't help.
It helps.
For my son, it will not help. You understand? So
Yeah, like, do you know what? That's me. Back in the day, for real, happens in this house. Like, but balance. You get what I'm saying? Like, you have to try to have balance. But is there any such thing as balance? I don't know. I just think you're constantly fighting that. Do you know what I think is quite really interesting? The fact that, we have multiple parents up here with different experiences, and everyone's experiences is valid. Steph, you said you've got things in place and you've mastered it, and then you've got Kay who has put things in place, but it's still a struggle.
Yeah, but that's because my daughter's 22. You got to think when she was 12, I didn't have things in place. But I mastered. Look, my husband is a football coach for the under-13s, and he has a lot of children who are Sen on his team, and they all love me, my husband. They love us, and I think it's because we know how we accept them for who they are. For one, we know their breakdowns and their meltdowns, and they can talk to us, and we just get on really, really well. And I have them coming up. I pick a couple of up from school and they come round, and these ones that I pick up, they actually do swear, but they know not to in my house. It's quite weird, and they won't. It's really weird, but I have that look. You've got the look. Everyone knows mama's look.
Yeah.
I'll give those boys my look that I give my own kids, and I go, sorry, Steph, and they're so well behaved, but when they go home to their parents, it's a whole different ball game. And I just feel like, because obviously children know how to push parents to the top, they know their limits, and it's hard. But when my daughter was 12, I was on a virtual breakdown. She ended up leaving my home at the age of 14 to live with her nan. And the reason being is because I have 5 children. It was too much people in one house, and her being at her nan's was better for her. And if you have got more than one child, or if you've got a busy household, that is one thing that Sen children really struggle with, is busyness. They need their own personal quiet space. But it's hard to put that into place when you're limited to that space. But that is one thing that children want, is quiet time. I need my time. I need to breathe.
yeah.
But every child is different. Everyone's experience is different. But you've just got to talk to them like they're a lot younger than what they are, to make them understand why they can't do it. My daughter said when I fell pregnant with her sister, she was 5. She said that's what made her change. She remembers it. She was actually good before that. She didn't wet the bed. When I fell pregnant, she started wetting the bed. She started being naughty at school. All from when I fell pregnant. Now she's older. She talks to me. She said, I hate it. I hate the fact he was having another baby. I hate it. And that was her trigger point. That was her having another kid.
Yeah. No, with my son, it's like at home, honestly, I don't have so many issues.
Is it just school?
It's yeah, because now when he was like 9, 8, like Kay said, he was really violent, and he was, you know, like breaking things inside the house and stuff, but he's much calmer now. It's just I know him now so well. I really studied my child. I know what triggers him, but I give him like consequences. And like with the gaming now, I tell him from beginning, I say, okay, 1 hour, and I say to him, put timer on your phone, I put timer on my phone at the same time. We put together, so 1 hour you can play. But it's just the school, they are the professionals, but they don't know how to deal with children who have needs.
Yeah,
That
it's hard. I think it's hard as well, sorry, where you've mastered how to
yeah,
parent your son, and then you've sent him to, you know, school where there are professionals there that should be able to provide things and put things in place so that he thrives, and they're not. It's a bit.
yeah. And then he has a EHCP, so I don't know if they read the EHCP or not, but they should know what triggers him. He needs like time to regulate, you know, not to be in his face, all this. I give him, if he's like really gets angry, I let him to cool off, and then I come back to him to ask him what is wrong with you. But sometimes ourselves, when we stressed, you know, our own mental health, sometimes I just don't have the patience to do it, even though I don't have no other children. But like today, I can't sit with him right now and ask him what happened in school and this and that, because I can't face it right now. It's just I'm too stressed out. So I will do it later on to speak to him. But sometimes it's so much going on with your own life, and then the school is stressing you. So it's not easy, you know, to go through this. And you think like they are the professionals, they should know, because they're saying, oh, we are a same school, we know, like we have a degree of this and that, but they don't know how to deal with children with needs. And like Kay say now, her child is in a specialist school that is is a what is it special? Yeah.
Yeah, especially school. He's
Social, emotional,
doing a
mental
reduced
Yeah,
timetable.
yeah. So my son has the same needs, and he's on reduced timetable. So where should we send our children if they're not helping us?
Special schools are good. They are good. They like when your child's at a certain age, they actually think I ain't going to one of them schools because it's going to be da 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 da. But they are really really good for children who sends. But it's hard to get them there.
You know what? I completely disagree with that.
Do ya?
Yeah, 100%. Shall I tell you the reason why? Because, like I said, when my son was in a mainstream school, so the only way to describe it is in a normal school, if, for example, children swear, a teacher's going to call you out on it, you're going to get in trouble, you're going to go into detention. Okay? Then in a special needs school, a lot of the children, you know, they've all been diagnosed with different things, but they're all the same in that sense. They've all got something. And if, for example, one child is swearing, multiple children are going to swear. And because they have additional needs, they're kind of like, oh, there's nothing we can really do about it because they're expressing themselves or they're doing this, and they kind of let a lot of things slide to an extent. So then what happens is it's like a pack of wolves, they all join in. If one child's lashing out and screaming, another child's lashing out and screaming. If one child's having a meltdown, it will trigger another child's meltdown. So therefore, what ends up happening is multiple things happen that wouldn't happen in a sense in a normal mainstream school. Am I making sense in what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
To everything. Like when in a normal school, you know, certain things won't slide and the teachers won't have it, and they will get put into detention. Since my son started this school, my son never used to swear. Like he won't swear in front of me, but he would never swear. He would never say like racist words or anything like that. He's mixed race. When he started this school, he was saying, you know, the N-word. And obviously his dad is black, and he was like, what the hell, Kalel? You are mixed race. You don't say that. Everybody says that. Everybody says that. And I've spoken to the school and I've called them up, and they're like, well, this is the problem, Kaylee. You know, for example, one child will say it and then another child will say it, and then they think it's a joke and they think it's funny, and we can't control the way that they're feeling. So that's why I say it's 50-50, because prior to starting this SEND school, my son never swore. He never said racist words or anything like that. And he don't anymore. And if anyone else says it, that's it. He just goes on the attack and hits them because he understands now that he's of an age. But being in a SEND school, it comes with a lot more problems because nothing is under control when multiple children are having meltdowns and there's not as many teachers to those children. Whereas in a normal school, you know, like a normal school or like a mainstream school, the children are kind of more under control because they know what to do and what not to do because there's repercussions. In a SEND school, they don't see the repercussions. They don't think about it in the moment. They just act out. And that's the problem. Then multiple children act out, and then multiple children will say things. So then it's just like, it's a never-ending circle. And when I'm calling up the school and saying to them, you know, my son's coming home telling me that this has happened, and he said this, and he said that, and he's now swearing. And then they're just like, oh, you know, we can't control it. If one child does it, another child does it, and they follow through and they all copy each other. So that's the problem, because they can't get that under control.
Well, I'm in Kent, and I've got a few parents, their kids go to a SEND school, and they've not had any issues. But May, when she lived in London, went to a SEND school, and it was feral. Absolutely feral. So it is 50-50. So I 100% agree with that. I just think, because I'm going by what my friends are going through now, because I watched them fight to get this place, and the amount of positive outcomes of them going to that school now has been amazing for their kids. Whereas when May was younger, it was, and she was in London, I don't know if different schools just make such a difference. Like the schools around here, I'm done with them. I'm this close to putting my kids out and homeschooling, because I feel like teachers have just lost the love to teach, and I feel like teachers are constantly battling with children they just don't fully understand, and it's probably a hard job for them as well. And I do feel like the government needs to put all these teachers through SEND training. Every teacher needs to be SEND trained, because there's so many more children now with SENDs, but there's not enough teachers who can handle it.
But they say that the teachers are trained. That's what
they're trained as in they go through. Because I know my friend I know a friend. She actually worked in in the SEND school, and it was basically homework of a slideshow. That's not trained, and that's what she was a TA for them, and all she had to do was a slideshow. It wasn't proper training. To me, that's not training. Reading something is not training. Verbally speaking and showing and doing examples in person, to me, is what you call training. Put them in the classroom and showing them, that's training. Reading a slideshow isn't. That's not training. That's just, you've just read it. Oh, so now you think you're an absolute pro at SEND children. They're just hiring people who, I think parents with SEND should be the teachers.
Yeah.
Because they fully understand. They fully understand, and they will have more time, more love for a child that can be a pain in the bum, but you understand them because you go through it.
Yeah.
Yes, at my son's school, basically, he was sent home last week after being there for half an hour because one child was having a meltdown, which then triggered Kalel, and then he got irate, and then he ended up in a meltdown. And she said to me, no, I wasn't able to restrain him safely. And I said, well, how was that? And she said, because there's only, I think, 5 teachers in the whole school. I think there's 11 teachers.
You're going in and out, Kay. I can't hear you properly.
Oh, sorry, babe. Is that any better?
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, so basically, my son had a meltdown because of another child was having a meltdown, and she had to send him home. And she said the reason he was sent home is because they couldn't restrain him safely. And the reason for that is, out of the 12 teachers that's in his school, only 5 of them are trained to restrain him, and the other 6 are not. So I don't think all of the teachers are trained to look after children, especially knowing how to handle them and to restrain them safely.
How's everyone's children sleeping at night?
Oh my God. Okay, so my children go to bed.
Wait, sorry, before we go into that, I just want to say hi to Yinka, who just joined. Hi, Yinka.
Hi, yeah, I just wanted to speak about my experience because my child is quite on the younger side. She's my youngest child. She was diagnosed when she was 5. She's 7 at the moment.
Okay.
She was diagnosed when she just turned 5. In the school, she goes to a mainstream primary school. It is like a constant battle, and it's like a back and forth. And I think the school is a brilliant school, and they were already putting an EHCP in place for her without a diagnosis. And just as we was going to sign on the dotted line, I came forward and I was like, oh, she's been assessed with autism and it's been confirmed. And that's when it just kind of like got like everything went into place. However, she had a teacher who was relatively new to the school, and
The speaker, it's not clear.
sorry, she had a teacher in the school, and there was like many occasions where I'll pick her up from school and she's not wearing the trainers I bought for her, or it was like winter time and she didn't have a coat on, and she just wasn't being looked after. And the final straw for me was, it was winter time. I picked her up from school, and from the distance, I can see my child not wearing a coat. But I saw the teacher with her coat zipped up and her gloves on, and another teacher who had a fur-lined coat as well, zipped up. And I went to the school instantly. I was like, "Where is her coat?" And he was like, "No, oh, sorry, we forgot. We were so busy, so on and so forth." And he went to go and get her the coat. He got her coat. By the time I took my child home, she'd wet herself. And I just broke down crying. I called the school, and I went in. I told them, "I'm putting you on notice. This is not a discussion. This is not a back and forth. If it happens, if anything happens again with my child, I'm pulling her out of school." And this man, also, I know she's fully funded with EHCP, and I want to know what is the money being spent on, because she gets enough money for you to pull in another TA where she can have a TA by herself. So why is my child being left to put on her? She don't change by herself. She can't do anything independently. So why is she being left by herself? She's losing shoes, losing coats. Why is that happening?
Yeah.
They give her homework, and they give her the whole class's homework. And I'm like, you guys are not even acknowledging her special needs. That is so bad. So it was at that point I realized that no, not every teacher is trained on SEN. Sometimes they're just the statistics. And yes, the school loves the EHCP funds. They love the money, but sometimes
the money, innit?
money is not being spent on our child. Sometimes it goes to the laptops for the whole school, or for the computer system for the whole school. So we as parents can ask on how it's being spent. I am part of I go to some training, and they also said that you can also apply for social funding. So anybody who is in the process of the EHCP funding, and like at home you need certain adaptations or assistance, can implement that into the discussion and see if you could be entitled to that kind of funding as well. So there's social, there's health, and there's education. And if there is social funding, you can claim it for iPads or whatever you need at home.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that part, the social funding of the EHCP. Thank you.
Yeah.
Right, we was gonna say talk about sleep. How is everyone's children and sleep?
Okay, so my sleep is non-existent. So both my boys, they go to bed. Well, one goes at 7 and one goes at 8 o'clock. And obviously then my daughter just goes 10 o'clock whenever, she's ready to go to sleep. And my 12-year-old, he's on Serpsidin, 10 milligrams. Obviously that doesn't even keep him asleep. He is up at least 3 times throughout the night. And then my youngest, he's up about 12 times, like every other hour on the hour. And then from 5:50, he's up every morning. So I probably get, I would say, if I'm completely honest, 4 hours broken sleep a night. And he also doesn't nap, so sleep is non-existent as well in my household.
Do you know what helps a child sleep with ADHD?
What?
Coffee.
What?
Coffee.
Oh,
Really?
mine doesn't have ADHD.
Yep.
Coffee.
Coffee works the opposite to us. So I've got ADHD, but I'm undiagnosed. I can't bother to get diagnosed. I'd rather that time go to a child. I've lived my life the way it has. My husband thinks I'm nuts, but I cope with it. But
Now, seriously, can anyone else testify to this? Because what, have you not heard that?
Yep, coffee will help him sleep. It works the opposite.
Interesting.
Yeah, if they have ADHD, right?
It's ADHD. I wouldn't know about anything else, just ADHD. ADHD because your brain just goes 10 to a dozen, doesn't it, when you've got ADHD? I could wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and have a full-blown argument in my own head what's going to happen tomorrow. For example, we bought a car and we paid a $3,000 deposit, and it was taking time to come. And I woke up at 2 o'clock to go to the toilet. 4 o'clock I went to sleep because I was like, right, in the morning, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. That's what happens at my head at 4 o'clock in the morning. But coffee works the opposite. So coffee is really good for children with ADHD, and a lot of people have been saying it on TikTok as well. So you can search it in the search bar, coffee and ADHD, and see what other people's views are. But it does help.
I might try coffee tonight and see if it works.
Yeah, I'm gonna try a coffee as well.
And my daughter, she's the absolute. I thought she got insomnia, because she's still, even though she's 22, she's still back to front. When she was a baby, she was awake all night, slept all day. But then I also had a sister who's 14 months older than her. So she's a toddler, awake all day, sleep all night. So my clockwork it didn't affect me because of my ADHD. I'm used to going. But she's still the same. She's 22 and she can live a nightlife than a day life. But if she drinks her coffee, she sleeps.
See, this is it. My boys, they can run on 3 hours sleep. They don't need sleep. They don't nap. They will just go, 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 go. But my son's school, they're trying to really push for an ADHD diagnosis, and I don't think he has ADHD. And I said, with his other diagnosis, I'm not going to follow through with it. And the only reason they want him to be diagnosed with ADHD is because they want him to be medicated. And once he's medicated, he'll be calm, more relaxed, and then he can settle in school. So that's the only reason they want to push for that. So maybe if I try coffee tonight, it might tell me whether or not he's actually got ADHD.
Yeah.
But wait, these things, it might work for some, because Destiny just said it don't work for her. It makes her feel, so I don't know, it just, take it with a pinch of salt.
No, my son doesn't have any ADHD. I know that for sure. But bedtime is it takes like 3 hours just for him to go to bed. It's always excuses. Go brush your teeth, have a shower. Yeah, 3 hours. I'm so exhausted after that because he always have an excuse. He always talks back. Like it's like constantly like prompting him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Constantly go, get up, brush your teeth. Like it's
I
yeah.
have to do something when it's bedtime. I used to sit in my son's room, honest to God, playing with his hair from 5 p.m. in the afternoon and leave that room at 9 o'clock at night every single night until he fell asleep.
Yeah, I used to do that when he
It
was.
won't happen.
Yeah.
And when his dad gets in from work, the first thing he does is go upstairs and put him to bed, and he's asleep within 45 minutes. With me, he'll be awake within like sit there for hours. So
Wow.
And then now he has these rules where he says, I'm 11, I go 11 to bed. I'm 10, I go. I said, no, it doesn't work like that.
That is my son now.
Yeah.
He's always telling me, oh no, why am I going to bed with the little ones? I'm like, listen, boy, when it's time to wake you up here, you're not getting up. So you can't compare yourself, please, to your friend. My friends are going to bed at 11. My friends are going to bed. You and your friends are not the same. Okay?
Same, exactly. That's what I tell him.
yeah. Do you know what, my daughter, like I say to her, Marley, you need to pretend to be asleep because Kalel's going to bed now, and then he'll be like, well, Marley's still up. He's like, I'm 12 now, and I said, I don't care. And then he'll go downstairs just to check if Marley's asleep. Obviously, she's like pretending to be asleep, and she has to do that every night. And she says to me, I'm 15, I'm so sick of this. I said, yeah, but it just makes life easier for me so that Kalel will go to sleep. But honestly, sleep is non-existent. I don't even know what sleep is.
Crazy.
No,
How do you
once he
function,
sleeps.
Very K.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't function. That's the problem. Like because I don't work either. Because I'm Kalel's full-time carer. So because of he's only in school, it's actually 2 hours 45 minutes he goes to school. I can't work, so I'm always at home. And the thing is as well, like my son, he's nearly going to be 3 in July. He's not even in nursery. And as much as I want him to go to nursery, because he's non-verbal, and I've been going through this for 12 years, I know exactly what to expect. And there's that fear of it putting me off. Starting him in nursery and then it's the same thing all over again, especially when 12 years later I'm still going through the challenges with school. And it's really difficult as a parent when you've got your shit together, you're really trying your hardest, you're doing everything right, and then you've got authorities on your back. Oh, Kalel did this, he did that, and this one's happened this, and how do we resolve this? And it's just so much pressure at home, let alone in an outside world with school. But I'm always fighting to keep Kalel in education because he deserves an education like anyone else, but it is a battle. Like I said, even being in a SEN school, it doesn't change anything. Rules and regulations, they still get suspended. They still get, told off, put into isolation and all of that. Like, nothing changes. The children just fall through the cracks and you think, like, going into special needs school that they're going to get all this one-on-one support. But a lot of the time it's non-existent because they're not trained. And you think, like, I don't know how your children are with you, but you think how your children are with you on your worst days. Imagine they're in school and they're doing that to a teacher. The teacher's they're not going to have patience like we do as parents.
Yeah, of course.
They're just going to get to the end of their tether and think, oh, do you know what? I'm not putting the effort in, I'm not putting the time in. And that's what's really difficult.
It's what they've done with my son. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to have to go, ladies. Thank you for letting me up here and keep your
joining.
You're all smashing it and keep going.
Thank you.
It's nice to know that everyone's going through the same thing. I always thought
we're in this together. We've got this. We're in this together. This is what makes it. We draw strength from each other. Do you know what I mean? Like sharing and Thank you for joining. Okay.
Thank you. Take care, girls.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too. Bye.
Bye. Yeah. No, I love this, man. Like honestly, the fact that we can just be so open and share and not care what everyone thinks. Because those that don't get it, you don't get it. It's fine. But we understand exactly the challenges that we have to go through. And it's nice to be able to vocalize it because you feel free. Like when you're holding that all in with everything you're going through, you're holding it in and you can't even say how you feel. That's even more suffocate him. So the fact that we have this, we can just say what we want to say, and yeah, I just love it, man, honestly. And just hearing other mums' experiences and just how strong you are, it's amazing. Kay's story, whoa.
Wow, yes, really. It's like respect. But you
Yeah.
know what I was looking for today, because Res, he doesn't do any learning. Honestly, I told you
None.
they took away his iPad weeks ago, because that's the only
You
way he can
said,
do.
yeah. So since that time and now you said you're not sending him back.
I'm
What is
not.
going to be your next point of
I
call?
was I was like I was actually looking earlier before I came up. I was looking for send tutor just to get someone, yeah, to do with him a little bit math and English, because he's not learning for months now. Because he goes to school, after 1 hour they send him back. They took his iPad away. They're not sending any work for him. Because I asked him, I said, do you even know what's going on in your class? Like, do you do any learning? He's like, oh, yeah, I don't know. So I was really looking for a private tutor just to come in and do some little something with him.
Yeah, which is a good idea. It's costly though. When I was
It's
looking at
costly.
send teachers, because if you're looking at a send tutor, they
Yeah.
charge a lot, man. Woo. But
There are, because
you've got to do what you've got to do, honestly.
what can I do? Because I'm really worried, because he's such a clever boy. It's just, he just needs the right school, the right setting, and he will, from there, he will flourish. So it's just this waiting game. It's just so stressing me, honestly. That because they're going back and forth with the schools and trying to get the right funding for him, so they don't have to spend a lot of money. But I want to get some advice. I'm trying to, I tried to call Sendias today
Yeah.
to just know my rights, and I'm trying to call Send Lawyer as well, solicitor, because even if it's like a year 58K or 45K or whatever, how much it is, because it's like an independent school, they have to pay for it. It's their duty of care.
Yeah, I guess, do you know what? It really does depend on the borough though, because we have another mum that kind of is in it. Well, she found a school, was it really expensive? She didn't think that the local authority was going to fund it, but they did. And she was so excited, so happy. And I was just like, that is absolutely amazing. It really is kind of like,
I don't have the patience doing with him work. Honestly, because I'm so stressed out. Once this whole school thing is now sorted, I know I'm gonna, calm, like I'm in the right mind space. But right now, I don't think I can sit with him and do some English and math. I don't think so, because he will not even listen to me. I know that.
Oh my gosh, when people say, let's talk about this homeschooling though, because a lot of people have actually said homeschool. But as you've just said what you've just said, that is how I feel when it comes to homeschooling. How am I going to homeschool my son? Look at the time, it's 1 o'clock. I've literally asked my son to do just two things, which was log on to his school platform and just do the work that they set. I also asked him to just sort out his room. It was two things to do. Asked from 8:30. How do I get my child to do what I want him to do? This is going to be my task. Because he just doesn't listen. So I can't imagine sitting down with him and trying to teach him schoolwork. Oh no.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just, it's not easy. That's why we're sending them to school, so the professionals can do it for us.
You homeschoolers are amazing. I salute you. I take my hats off, especially if you've got send kids, homeschooling your send kids.
Someone said COVID time was easy because he was in primary school, and the teacher used to call him, like, in primary school, they used to do some online with the teachers. I don't know if you...
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
Yeah, we didn't do really homeschooling like that.
Yeah.
But I'm really, I'm trying to call Cyndia's to get me some advice. But I told the caseworker, like, he's not going back. Because for what? Just to be sent back. And I have work. I work only 2 days. Thank God the days they're sending him home is not the days I'm working so far. Because I only work Monday and Fridays. But and he's already on a shortened timetable. So he's not doing any learning. He's not. So I hope she gets back to me end of today or tomorrow with a decision.
They take this Sen Diaz people, they do take a while to respond. Like, I had someone that is advocating for me. I sent an email from last week. I sent literally 3 emails. They only got back to me today. I was thinking, oh my gosh, it takes that long to get in contact with them. It's not really quick, because at the time when they sent my son, I wanted advice like ASAP, like from him, but it took so long to actually get a response. It's just, yeah.
Yeah, they're not answering. So I left a message on their voicemail or whatever. So I hope they get back to me. Just to ask them what is my rights. Because I know, like, a neighbor of me, her son, like, she was in the same situation. He was actually in my son's school, but she took him out. She didn't play around, you know. I was keep sending him. After a month, she took him out.
Take him out.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Because first I thought maybe he will lose like some learning, but he's not even doing learning, right? So I can actually take him out.
Yeah.
Because at first I was like, oh, you know, he will, for his own mental health, you know, and the socializing part with his friends and all that. I thought like, but actually he's not really going that much to school. He's on shortened timetable. When he goes in, he's there only for an hour. So it's the same thing, actually. He can stay home now.
Yeah,
but it's the days I'm working as well, you know. That's another thing, because can he stay home? I don't know if he can stay home by himself. I can't trust him.
Well, that's the thing, though, because let's say worst case scenario, you would have to leave your job to be at home with him. And
that's what all my neighbors say, because some of them, they are carers for their child, but you know, work is for me, I don't know. It gives, that is my own thing. You know what I mean?
Of course.
I only work 2 days, and it's like work is even for me socializing, like being out of the house, you know, and like escape. Yeah, work's like escape for me.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like when I speak to many parents that have had to leave their jobs to be like full-time carers for their Sen kids, I'm like, the process leading up to that, I want, like, mentally, that would crush me. I know like we adjust, like being parents to Sen kids, you're constantly adjusting, like, you know what I mean, just dealing with whatever life throws at you. That, like, being at work is such an escape. Is where you socialize, and having to give that up to be in a space where you're just constantly on go, like no break. I don't know. Woo.
So did the school came back to you, Jess?
No, the school hasn't come back to me. A teacher called me yesterday and just said to set up a meeting with the head at the alternative provision, where they sent my son. However, their dad is like, he's not going there. He's at kind of like over my dead body. And I'm like, now I've got kind of in a pickle, because I don't want him to, he could be at home for ages, like years. Like, we have a mum here, her son's been out of school for 3 years. I just don't know, because I'm like, dad doesn't want him to go. I'm trying to be a bit logical in the sense that, okay, he can't stay at home forever. So we should try an attempt to send him. Let's see how it goes. Even if he goes for 1 day, 2 days, let's just see. He's like, the dad's like, no. So
did you contact your local authority? Like, the council?
Yes, as an email. I sent an email to everyone, really. When they actually sent him to the alternative provision, I had sent that email to everyone. Still to this day, my son's been out of school now, like, what is it, a week, coming up to 2 weeks? They still haven't responded to me, you know. And you see what that mum is doing, and she's going to the school and she's protesting. There's a mum and she's protesting for her child. I'm like, no, is it time for me to go to the school now? Because I've sent multiple emails and they're not responding. So can I go there? But I don't want to go to school and get banned like that mum. I don't want to get banned. I don't want to be that person.
But you know what you can do? Just call the consul and then say you want to speak to the what are they called? To the what they called again? What they called, the ones that's responsible for schools? My brain is now frozen.
I don't know, you know. Senko?
Education department, exactly.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, the education department, and you can say, yeah, hi, I have here my child, and he has no school place. Basically, he has a school, but I don't want him to go there. So how can you help me?
Yeah.
Because maybe they haven't even sent, maybe the school, your school, like the mainstream he was, maybe they didn't even inform the education department about all this, because they never sent you any emails, right?
But what this because the IS, the person from IS got back in contact with me and said that the school have the authority to do what they've done to my son. They have that. He hasn't got an EHCP, remember? So they can actually send him what they've done. They can do it. So where I was just like, oh my days, what if they done? They can do it. But why didn't they make it known that they could do it? Why was they making it seem like I had a choice? That's where my anger comes from. Why did I go to like countless of meetings? Why did I do all of that if they was just gonna send him where they wanted to send him anyway? Like, it was just like, what was the point of that? Seriously, you could have done it anyway. Why did you need me to come from multiple meetings to discuss this provision when you put him there by force anyway? So yeah,
what they done to you was so wrong. Like, how can they just have a meeting, then the next day they could have told you all that. They could have told you all that in the meeting.
Exactly. That's where could you imagine coming away from a meeting thinking, okay, cool, they're going to set this up, they're going to set that up. And then the next day you get an email saying, yep, he's to go to this provision for 10 to 12 weeks, starting from tomorrow. What? Where is the place? Where is he going to? What? No, sorry. I just can't believe that schools can actually do that. It's crazy.
They do what they want to because they have their own policies and regulations and God knows what. It's just they do their own thing, and they don't understand. They're really stressing parents out.
Sorry, Lovely, your son's been permanently excluded, and you've got a meeting. Whoa. It's not easy. Please let me know how that meeting goes. I'm going to remember to message you to see how that goes. That is
was excluded. Looking for my son permanently.
Who has SEN needs. I also was offered the 12 weeks and I declined. See, they didn't. Yeah, dude, I'm going to message you. They didn't, what am I saying? Sorry. They didn't even give me an option to decline it. They just sent him. They said, so he can't, I don't believe he can be on school property in it for the 12 weeks if they've sent him there. I don't really know, but it wasn't communicated well at all, man, at all. But guys, I need to go to the gym.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I'm just going to be on edge when the others come back today. And I will come back on live and we'll catch up again.
All right. Have a good day.
Thank you. You guys enjoy yourself and try to do something positive for yourself, please, everyone. I'm going to the gym. So you guys do something positive for yourself. Anything, even if it's, I don't know, having your favorite something. Do something positive for yourself because this is not easy. We need to do something really nice for ourselves every day, even if it's something small. Yesterday, I done my skincare routine, and I was like, it's amazing.
Same. I got now this Korean skincare. It's so good. Did you try?
I'm gonna try. Is this the TikTok one?
Yeah, it's the rice something one. It's really good. Like my face is glowing, girl. Like it's really good.
Yes, I love that for you. I'm gonna done to cut my hair as well. All right,
All
guys.
right. Speak